welcome to another sizzling installment of Trending SA right here on SABC3. And to help us wrap up the week, we have the multi-talented Morena, the stylish music maestro, the memorable presenter, well, kids presenter actually, the man with the slick dance move. I'm talking about the Squire. Welcome to Trending SA.
Thank you.
What's that?
And of course,
not a Cheyenne is on.
and of course, I'm your Charlie. And I'm not alone. I'm rocking with my angels. Elma Smith is in the building.
I'm not your anything. just for clarity, ne? I'm not standing there on the poster like this.
I mean, look at you now.
Look at you now. You just did it.
No.
You are in the poster.
And there's my other angel, the king, the one and only, the stylish King Lou.
Hey, boo. How you doing? Hey, everybody. How you doing?
Hi. Morena.
No, with this height, no.
Wow.
Okay.
Right.
Settle. Order, please. I do not intend to continue working. I've worked hard enough, and I'm grateful to be granted the opportunity to retire earlier than I was expecting. Don't get excited. I'm not going anywhere. These are the words of the Powerball jackpot winner this week. This man walked away with 121 million rands. He's a 60-year-old electrician from Bloemfontein. He plans to invest most of his winnings, literally 95% of it. He has already bought himself a Ford Raptor.
What?
A vibe.
He bought his wife a Cougar and his mom-in-law a Mahindra.
He must hate his mother-in-law. That's what you put.
I'm that emoji right now.
How much money do you already have if you're investing 95% of 121
But also, guys,
million?
he's old, so...
He's literally said, I'll buy each of my kids a house and a car, and I'm going to renovate the house that I'm living in 30 minutes outside Bloemfontein. He's worked as an electrician, and he's gone, you know what? I am just happy that I'm not going to have to worry about my retirement.
That's so precious.
In Zulu, we have a saying about this. It says, "Ahlanzela bangenamapoto." It means that the pumpkins ripen for people that don't have the pots. The last thing I am doing with 121 million is buying those cars.
That's why you ain't got it.
Listen, I'm going to get it.
That's why God
I'm going to get it.
And this is why God is not saying...
No, don't worry.
Morena.
I'm asking Trending SA to up my salary. I'm going to get to 100%.
Hey, what is going on here? Morena, 121 million rand. What are you buying first?
Oh, my goodness. I don't know, like, what do you buy with 120 million rand? First of all, I'd switch off my phone, because I think I'll go crazy.
Yes.
I'll switch off my phone, book myself into a hotel and just look at the mirror and just say, is it you? Is it you? Is it
Hello?
you? Hello? Try to touch myself. I don't know what I'd buy. What would I buy? I mean, first of all, I'd get... I actually don't even know.
Nick Cannon's baby mama.
Oh, hell no.
Wow.
Oh, hell no.
Mariah Carey
wow.
claims that her life was controlled.
Oh, hell no.
In the 90s, apparently her record label at the time wouldn't let her answer some media questions. She felt that her voice was silenced. All those years, Mariah.
I mean, also like Mariah, that was the 90s. Everyone was silenced in the 90s.
Does she even remember what she wanted to say?
Her story is not like the rest of the people's story.
What
Her
is it?
story, she was locked up into a house because she was married to Tony Matola, who actually controlled everything about her, including the friends that she can have and everything. She was basically a child throughout. That's why she had that phase where she just broke down and she had that whole glitter phase that we don't talk about as the Lamberley.
Okay.
Guys, I was a child star, so like you...
You were?
I mean, yeah, I practically raised Joe like you.
Okay, I won't bother.
We had decoded, so we never saw you.
Were you silent?
You were saying.
So, being a child star, obviously you get told, you can't do particular things, you can't say particular things. You're not dating. You're not living like a teenager.
Yes.
You're really a child. Only you're 22.
Except it's still awkward.
So it started when you were 16, 15, and it made sense. But now you're 22, and they're like, no, don't tell me when you're dating. Don't do this. Don't do that.
It sucks though because it never ends. Even though you're 30-something, and you still, for as long as you work somewhere, it's a wrap for you.
Yeah. I mean, I still have people going, oh. you look older. I'm like, yeah, I
I'm
grew.
supposed to.
Congratulations, look at me.
No,
So tell me.
for me, one thing that just happened is that my Twitter account is just vibes now. I can't weigh in on anything.
Never
so I
just
tweet about
vibes.
flowers and rain, my dogs. That's all my life is. Because you just don't know. You just never know what might happen.
Or just be like me and just swear at someone every now and then.
It is crazy how Twitter now has like become a PG. Like you gotta be really like conscious about what you tweet. You know.
Yeah.
You don't just like blurp out
Because
anything.
you could get fired.
You get fired. It comes up years later when you were like,
I was minding
explain
my
this
own.
tweet, and you're like,
it's
at the
tricky.
time I was going through something.
So speaking of online stuff, what other stories have caught your attention this week?
Just a second.
Wow.
Not you on my turf. Not you on my turf.
So what
Coming at
stories
me.
caught me this week?
Yes.
So there was that whole corruption thing, the asbestos, 200 million. What's the guy's name?
Edwin
someone.
Sorley.
Yes.
Yeah, and then earlier on, then after that story, there was the whole, Ace Mahushule, but NC
Weren't
said
you
it
at
was
his
a-
party?
So I'll
She
tell
was
you.
the first gents party.
So I'll tell you a story. Anyway,
Tell us about the house.
But anyway, my thing
the
is,
glass.
there's all of these stories about.
Screaming 200 million. You said that.
Are the fish real?
So
Are the fish
there was a
real?
party there, and I went to that party, and I didn't know it was his house. I went with a friend,
Yes.
and look. But what I was thinking was that there's all these stories about corruption, and we're seeing, these cars have been taken, and there's investigation, and there's a big hoo-ha, and then months later, it's quiet. We don't see convictions.
Yeah.
Nothing happens. In fact, we're still going through Zondo Commission. We are yet to see a single person getting convicted. So, does South Africa have a culture of investigation and no convictions?
In South Africa,
I just feel
our land.
I feel that we did arrest somebody, and we have to arrest somebody every 20 years. So we did arrest somebody. You remember we arrested Tony again. So we've done it. So we basically, as a country, we
No,
arrest
man.
one every 10 years.
No.
One every 10 years. So we'll arrest somebody.
our level
You
of
know
corruption
what?
is that.
You just took it to the top, and I'm gonna stop you right there before we get into trouble. The
Do you want
Squire,
your job?
the Squire,
Yes.
thank you for nearly getting us fired.
Is this it?
This is it.
Oh,
Now you
wow.
can finish your coffee in peace.
So do I leave or do I wait for you to do the link?
You gotta go. Bye. We are going for an ad break, and when we come back, we sit down with Putco, Mafani.
Woohoo! Shine it on, down.
Welcome back. You're still tuned into Trending SA. Yes, that Morena is a right. Yo! So joining us tonight is one of South Africa's most celebrated personalities. Putco Mafani is a household name. He's an award-winning broadcaster. He is an inductee at the SA Radio Hall of Fame. He has recently added author to that. Help me welcome the legendary Putco.
Thank you.
Do you like that intro?
I like it.
Okay, cool.
It's like I paid you for it.
I absolutely love it. Tata, you've had a phenomenal time in radio. You have a lot of young personalities looking up to you, adoring you, probably trying to be you in all their work. And in 2014, you got inducted into the Radio Hall of Fame, and that houses the likes of the late Bob Mabena, Timothy. Would you say that is the highlight of your radio career?
Certainly. Particularly a broadcaster from the Eastern Cape.
Yes.
I was the first one from the Eastern Cape to be
Sure.
inducted into the Hall of Fame. But I was so humbled. I thought there were better broadcasters before me. It's just that during their time, there was nothing like radio awards.
Yes.
Particularly the dark days of apartheid, when there were great broadcasters, Peter Pacela, Given Klebi, and all of those legends, they were far better than I am. But I think I was at the right place at the right time when the SA Radio Awards were gaining ground in South Africa. And to have my name also alongside the names of the greats like John Bax, Alex J, Bob Mabena, then Putco Mafani, I was like, wow.
So you have this tradition now since 2001 on the 11th of April every year where you say prayers for the 43 supporters who were trampled at Ellis Park. Tell me about the significance of doing that and what it's done for you, because you're doing it for other people, but this remembrance is obviously significant.
I think for me, it's a moment of grace remembering that it could have happened to me as well. But grace was on my side. And so if the clubs in the league don't stage a commemoration of the Ellis Park disaster, I have my own personal moments alone. And I pray to God. I'm a praying fellow. I pray to the Lord and I say, Lord, first, I'm happy that I was the one with the microphone in the hand that night. And on top of that, then I thank God that he gave me a script. And everything was unrehearsed, no consultation. There was no chance to consult with the leaders. They were up there at presidential suite somewhere. And at that moment, and I believe for every crisis, there's always a man for every crisis. And that night, the man was Putco Mafani. And I would never run away from that responsibility, you know, because it was my responsibility. And everybody that's watching tonight, there is a moment that you have to stand up and be counted. So I did that.
I remember that night so well. It made such an impression on me.
Yeah.
Wow, such a tragedy.
Yeah. So there are things in life that you do once, and if you're called upon to do it again, you're like, yo, will I remember how I did it?
How you did it, yes.
It is because you were appointed for that particular moment.
Yeah.
In fact, you were even favored with the appointment because it's divine. It's divine. To stand between death and people is a divine appointment. Because inside the bowl, there was about 60,000 spectators. And the game was flowing. It was one of the fastest Soweto derbies. Because Chiefs and Pirates were like neck on neck. You know, like this past season with Chiefs and Sundowns. Oh, let's not talk about that.
We're not
Okay. Now they were neck on neck. They were neck on neck. And then the Soweto Derby on a Wednesday. As a matter of fact, we've never staged them again ever on a Wednesday in the evening.
In the evening.
Because of the learnings from that, you know. And so there's Chiefs scoring in the first 10, 15 minutes through a Nigerian international by the name of Tony Ilodigwe. And he scores. And people outside are impatient. They're pushing. They're wanting to buy tickets. There were even those days tickets in the so-called black market. Oh, I hate this term, black market. But there were tickets in the black market as well, you know, which we found out later in the Commission of Inquiry. And then Pirates equalized within a few minutes from Benedict Villagazi.
That's how fast it was.
And then there was chaos.
Yeah.
Wow.
Impatience grew outside. People pushing, people trampling on top of people until we could see inside that, there are people brought in. Actually, later we realized it was not people that were carried in, it was bodies.
Wow. Wow.
And that was traumatic. You know.
So I'm going to let you take a sip of water. We are going to be back right after the break. More stories from this iconic and, as you could tell, phenomenally talented storyteller when we return.
Welcome to Trending SA. Actually, welcome back. What am I doing?
I mean, you know, whichever way we go, we're here.
No, it's just we've been having stories here, and it's amazing stories. We're still with the legendary Putco Mafani in studio with us.
Yes, and speaking of legendary stories, I'm holding an iconic book. Apparently, I do this really well, where we zoom in on the book. This is phenomenal. This is such a beautiful moment. And if just reading on the cover, there's a comment from General Bantu Holomisa saying, in this gripping memoir, Putco remains a good balance between the humorous and the serious, and a lovely one from Kaiser Mutawung rather saying, this book will make people discover greatness in themselves. How do you feel every time you see this? Are you not like a kid in a candy store?
I still can't believe it. I still can't believe that finally I made it. And I did it.
You know that a lot of people wait until they have retired and they've gotten to the end of their career before they write a memoir, and you are still going, you are still in it, you're still doing the work, and yet you took this moment out to write this book. How did you feel that this was the right time to do this?
Actually, that's what I'm dispelling in the book. My definition of greatness is that it's not a destination. Your greatness is not somewhere in the future. When you think you have all the money and have all the land, good luck, and all of those things.
Yes.
My definition of greatness is it begins on day one when you're born and your mom and your dad hold you and that first cry. They say, wow, what a giant of a child. Did you hear that cry? Just it begins right there. And then on your way to preschool, to primary school, high school, and you keep on doing things that make people say, wow, that's greatness. So it's a lifelong, and on the way you keep, picking up accolades on the way. You pick up awards, you pick up recognition, you win things. Sometimes they say there's a school tour, and only learners that have done, this much will get on the school tour. That's greatness. It's not the destination, and that's why I wouldn't wait until I'm this old man that cannot move, that cannot talk, that cannot do all of those things. No, I actually, a lot of people were saying the book is long overdue, and that's what drives me now also to begin with my follow-up book as well, because the moment you finish one, then you want to write another one. And that's the good thing. And that's why you guys actually owe us your books as well.
I
promise you.
Not yet. The book is called The Price and Prize of Greatness. When I read the price part, I see there's a lot of stories there. So when you were busy writing this book, and when you sat back, is there a story in there that you look back now and you go, ish, this makes me vulnerable? Is there that one story that's that deep that you go, yeah?
Vulnerability is part of the price. When you're stepping into any shop to buy anything, you pay a price. You say, how much is it? You pay a price. Vulnerability is part of the price. Life mistakes are part of the price. My mistakes, my parents' mistakes, and anybody else. And including those aspects in one's life where some of us have had defects. Some of us and some of the viewers have had physical defects. Some medical and biological defects. Okay? Watch this. And in my case, I remember when I go to boarding school, I had this defect of bad wetting for the first 5 years at boarding school.
Sure.
High school or primary school?
Must be primary.
High school.
High school.
Yeah.
I promise you, this nearly killed my self-esteem, because every morning, and now watch this. This is the sense of humor that God has. On one hand, I feel this defect. It's eating up on my self-esteem. On the other hand, I'm also the timekeeper and bell ringer of the boarding school.
There we go.
So life is balancing itself. Because when I feel, ish, I must check Amachita when they've left the dormitories towards the morning assembly, then I can take my mattress out.
Oh, man.
It's eating me up.
Oh, man.
But the next moment, I've got to ring the next bell for breakfast.
So you can put it back in.
Ring the next bell for the first period. So I have this authority. While the teacher is teaching, I can walk out, collect my books, walk out. He will never question me, because I have the authority of being the bell ringer, the timekeeper of the school. On one hand, I have this defect.
Shucks.
It is the price that we pay, because we have to overcome these things, because your dream is waiting for you. I mean, I knew when I was as young as 7 years old that one day I'll be on radio.
Sure.
At 10 years, I was part of the tour that went to a radio station.
Okay.
Oh,
I relate. I so relate to that.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
And then the other vulnerability issue is I never knew my dad. I never knew my dad. There are hundreds of thousands of kids out there tonight who I want them to know that it's not your fault.
So you never met him at all?
Never. I saw my dad for the first time at his funeral.
oh,
When he was lying in that cold, bloody steel coffin, and I looked at him, and when I arrived, my brother, who I had met, and I'm in my mid-30s by then.
Sure.
I'm already a TV presenter.
that's painful.
And when they hooked me up with my blood brothers,
Sheesh.
and before we embark on a trip to go visit the old man, the next call I received was, he's late. And I said, I'm going there. I need to see that man. It doesn't matter even if I see him asleep, it's fine. I need to see him. So when I got there, they opened the coffin, and the details are in the book, and I saw the man. It's going to be trending here.
Yes,
boy. Yeah. And I saw this while he's lying there, and I'm like, okay. That time I had all my hair just like him. And I was like, oh, okay. And I saw my father. He couldn't talk to me because he was already asleep. His sleep of death. He couldn't say, son, what are your dreams in life? Son, I love you. Boy child today lacks that. He lacks the voice of the father. Not that mommy or single mother is not doing enough, but there's always a void. I've always had this thing in my mind that perhaps if, like all other children, I have had an opportunity with him, I probably could have halved the mistakes that I've made in life. Now watch this. On the other hand, I think, if I had had time with that powerful man, I probably could have doubled the little bit of success that I've had.
I think that you have done such phenomenal work, and particularly in sharing this, I'm sure is going to help many other people out there halve their mistakes and double their success by learning from all of your lessons.
I love that.
It has been an honor to have you share some of your stories, and all the best with the book and the next book.
That's part of the prize, by the way, to be at Kaizer Chiefs, to tour the world, win awards. That's the prize.
Well, definitely keep continuing this conversation with us on social media. And thank you so much, Loot Love. The King
An absolute pleasure.
Graced us with her presence for the entire week. It was such a joy and an honor to have you here.
It's always fun. It's always a pleasure. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you for being our special fourth team member.
I got you, girl.
Just coming off the bench the whole time. Love it.
She's always there.
Okay. Mable, lekker naweek.
Whatever she said, I'm that.
Okay. We'll see you next week, 6 p.m. every day of the week, right here on SABC3. Have a lovely weekend.